Hi, my name's Darren, and I'd like to talk to you about workers' compensation in the state of Washington and across America today. What I have done is ask Senator Marko Liias and several other political candidates about the need for minimum federal oversight and to address our broken state work comp system here in Washington state and across America.
Hi, my name is Marko Liias. I'm a state representative from the 21st District. This is today's Washington Whiteboard. We're talking about injured workers today and what our state does to get them back to work. We do this predominantly through our workers' compensation system, an employee and employer-funded insurance program here in Washington state. Some folks tell us that the workers' comp system is broken, it doesn't do its job. I want to take a look at the facts. Washington's rates for workers' compensation are better than 38 states. We have one of the lowest rates for workers' compensation claims across the country. That has helped us get a number 10 ranking for our business climate, a number 7 ranking for job creation among the states, and number 5 for one of the best places to do business in the United States. We've got a system that gets people back to work and takes care of them when they're injured. We have a competitive business climate and low rates. I'd say our system is working.
Those are some great facts, Marko. Now let's look at these facts.
Staying both on the job and healthy may be as vital as ever as a new investigation shows workers' compensation benefits nationwide have been cut. The moves benefit employers and insurance companies that are supposed to cover hurt workers. ProPublica and NPR conducted the joint investigation. The outlets published identical articles Wednesday morning, along with a state-by-state breakdown profiling the cuts over the past 13 years. Here are some of the investigation's key findings. Since 2003, lawmakers in 33 states have passed new laws reducing workers' comp benefits or making them tougher for employees to access. Each state varies significantly on how much you can receive, so where you get hurt matters. Many states cut off benefits after an arbitrary time limit instead of when the worker is recovered, and employers and insurance companies now have more control over medical decisions. The report was especially critical of states like Florida, which has reduced workers' comp benefits by 65% over the past 2 decades. In California, insurers can use the opinions of doctors who never actually saw a patient to reopen old cases and deny medical care. Independent medical reviewers in that state denied the recommendation of workers' doctors in 91% of cases.
Yeah, everyone thinks that workers' comp is so expensive. But in fact, we looked at the numbers and we found that employers are actually paying the lowest cost for workers' compensation insurance since the 1970s. And insurers are doing fairly well, too. In 2013, they had an 18% profit, their best year since the 1990s.
In another case highlighted Wednesday morning, ProPublica and NPR pointed out a worker who loses an arm on the job in Alabama is only entitled to a maximum of $48,000 in compensation. Just across the border in Georgia, a worker could get almost $700,000 more over his or her lifetime. ProPublica and NPR say the investigation took up much of the last year for the outlet's 2 reporters, Michael Grable and Howard Burkus. For Newsy, I'm Cliff Judy.
In the last 10 minutes, nearly 500 Americans became disabled. Right now, 54 million people in America are living with disabilities. Most of these injuries happen in the working years, when people need to be healthy to provide for their families. And not everyone who gets injured survives. Over 4,600 Americans are killed on the job each year. American troops who earn their living serving our country are greatly affected. 6,300 troops were killed in Iraq and Afghanistan, and 633,000 now suffer from a disability as a result of their service. Many people continue to live with the effects of their injury every day, as 116 million American adults live with chronic pain disorders. Disabled workers are the largest minority group in America. Anyone, at any time, could become the next unwitting member. But unfortunately, millions of disabled workers don't have access to the vital information, resources, and community support they need to make informed decisions during this critical time. When they reach out for help, they are often shunned by society or labeled as lazy.
Discussion in chat, I see.
Oh, yes. So this is from Darren. Darren's very passionate about this, and I think I've simplified his basic question, but it really stems about how we are letting down our injured workers. And she's wondering, do you support Senator Sanders' call for federal oversight of state work comp systems? Feels like we are really letting our injured workers down in California. I wonder what you thought about that.
Yeah, so, in California, we have a lot of issues that I think that most people just keep saying they're state issues. But I think at the federal level, there is always something that we can do. And that is always done by incentives, right? Here in California, I used to work in construction and I used to see how workman's comp used to work. In fact, my boyfriend, he's actually one of the people who was injured here in California. And after you meet a certain amount of days, you're kicked off the program. So you either you're rushed to either settle with the company that you were hurt with. And the deals aren't really there. And there's really no support at the state level to guide you through the process. And so there's really no oversight. I mean, so a lot of these companies are getting away with really murder. They're paying out people for fractures to their spine, at $10,000, $17,000 when they know that the lifelong care is going to be well into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's just one of the reasons why I support Medicare expansion for all, so that people are not stuck with these enormous bills that they're going to have to fork out of nowhere. I mean, the amount that people are being charged for doctor visits and follow-ups are absurd, and no one can afford them. So it just leaves more room for more injuries in the future. And I believe that we can have some real progress if the federal decides to have oversight in every state. And I'm telling you that because California has higher standards than other states. So I can't imagine what's happening in other states.
Yeah.
Wow. Know your stuff there.
Yeah, I think he's speaking in terms like what he's seeing in Washington. It feels like war against workers, and they're really being let down.
Absolutely.
So,
well, yeah, I mean, that's one. Yeah.
I think he's happy. Darren, you happy? Oh, Darren's happy. Okay.
Any other questions, Laura?
That's it for right now.
So it's equal for all. The question is, will you support Senator Sanders and Patty Murray and Tom Perez's call for minimal federal oversight for our broken state workers' comp systems? And do you feel we need a state fix or a federal fix?
Well, let me say, first of all, I appreciate the problem. I did workers' comp law at the federal level for longshoremen. I also have done it at the state level, and it has gotten worse and worse and worse. And let me explain why I think it's happening. I think we are experiencing a pre-planned genocide, and I think people simply need to open their eyes to see it. We see it with regard to workers' comp.
Washington's rates for workers' compensation are better than 38 states. We have one of the lowest rates for workers' compensation claims across the country. That has helped us get a number 10 ranking for our business climate, a number 7 ranking for job creation among the states, and number 5 for one of the best places to do business in the United States. We've got a system that gets people back to work and takes care of them when they're injured. We have a competitive business climate and low rates. I'd say our system is working. This is
wow.
Take this job and go. Ain't working here no more. Woman done left, took on the reason I was working for. stand my way, just walking out the door. Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. I've been working in this factory now on 15 years. All this time I washed my wool, drowned in a pool of tears. I've seen a lot of good folks die, had a lot of bills to pay. I'll give a shirt right off of my back if I had the guts to say, take this job and shut it. I ain't working here no more. Woman done left, took on the race. I was working for more. Better not try to stand my way, just walking out the door. Take this job and shut it. I ain't working here no more. Like all men, he's a regular dog. The line boss, he's a fool. Got a brand new flat top haircut. Lord, he thinks he's cute. One of these days, I'm gonna blow my top. That's so good, he's gonna pay. Lord, I can't wait to see his face when I get another seat. Take this job and shut it. I ain't working here no more. I wanna know to all the reasons was working for. Better not try to stand my way, it's walking out the door. Take this job and shut it. I ain't working here no more. Take this job and shut it. I ain't working